Right, welcome back. You join me today on a very cold day. It is the long-awaited review of this. I've had it over around about 5-6 months now. It is the Fox Transporter 24-volt Power Pro Plus electric barrow, basically. So basically this is how you get it. This is in its raw form when you set it up. What I shall do is I shall take you around and show you the adjustments, the measurements and a few bits and pieces it does, and then on a little bit warmer day when I'm at home and I've got more time, I will show you how I load it. Right, starting from the side, basically we'll start at the back. You got the bars that fold down for easy transportation, and then they lift up obviously, and you can adjust them in and out. I'll roll that down out of the way. Here, this is an adjuster for the wheels. So basically what you can do is you can fold the wheels under for storage. I never bother because I've got a van. The bag you can see here has a zip all the way around, so you can get in and out without having to worry about going through the top, and that is the both sides as well. On the front you have a mesh pocket what's got a zip on the side as well as going in the top. You have an adjuster here which is for the front, so you can adjust the front in and out, and these are your bucket retainers here, if you can see these. I'll show you these more in a bit in depth. Then these here is your 360 wheels, and then you've got your on off button here with your LEDs, your charging point here. So what you've got is you've got your handlebars which are fully adjustable. You've got 4 thumb screws, we'll call these thumb bolts or thumb screws as I'm going around. You have 4 of those, you undo those, pull this out, twist this so it locks out of place, and then your bars can come completely out, or you can adjust it up and down to suit your height. This bar here has got 2 thumb screws on as well to hold it solid. Then on the top you've got your controller, your thumb speed, your on off button, and your forward and reverse. Underneath you've got your plugs if you need to take your handlebars completely off, and you can do that as well. So this is the front, right at the front. So let's say you've got your bucket, and these clip on and off. Here I'll show you, they just clip on and off, one each side, and then you have one on the front to stop the bucket from sliding out. So there's bucket, you have a bucket either side, 17 litre or 10 litre buckets. Your wheel, you've got 1 screw underneath, electric cable screwed on, which you can take off, and then you've got 2 thumb screws, which I'll show you in a minute, and that way you can just drop the wheel off, again for more compact sort of packing away. This front bar is adjustable, and it goes up and down you just loosen the 2 thumb screws, and then that goes up and down to suit. That folds down, you have to sort of lift it up and down to pack away, up and then like that. But you can also have it like that, slightly tilting forward, which I'll have to show you on the other camera in a minute. And then obviously you can have this up a bit more as well to suit. I'll do all the measurements in a little while so you can see the different measurements. Right, so I forgot to mention this bit at the back. You've got 2 tie down points here at the back, here and here, and then at the front you've also got 2 as well. I show you what mine are for later on. This is your battery box. In here you have your control unit via switch, and your 2 batteries fit in here like this, not like some of the manuals. Some of the manuals tell you to have 1 here and 1 here. I got told by a Fox rep to have 1 there and 1 there, and I've just got this in so it's easier to lift them in and out if I ever need to. Not that I do, because I charge them in. And then you've got a nice little storage area here for stuff as well. That box can lift in and out. Then here, as you can see, the bag just unzips and you can get into it like that. If you want to, you can actually take the bag out. You just undo the Velcro bits that are on the frame, and then what you do is you can actually lift the bag completely out if you want to and take it to your bivvy. Right, so when I'm packing down for storage or for whatever, that folds down like that. And if you want to take the handlebars off, it's dead easy. You undo your 4 screws, pull your retaining sort of thumb screws out, gently lift that out. I don't take my wire off, I just gently take it out. This is when I'm using it underneath. Oh, I think something, that's it, under the screw, and then I lay that on top like that, and that fits in my van underneath. Obviously you've got to be careful of the switch at the front, but I've got a bit of foam I'll put underneath that to protect it, and that's sort of with it sort of flattish for me for my van, and that will fit in every van. And if it'll go in an estate car as well, but if you're going to put it in a car, then you can take the barrow bag out, or under your straps, fold it up and then push the wheels up underneath, and you can drop the front wheel off as well, which then compacts it right down. Obviously the less you have to take off the better, because you haven't got so much to keep putting back together. But you can leave it fully like set up, or you can actually strip it right down depending on what you want for the vehicle you've got. That's the good thing about it, it's very adaptable to whatever you want. So like I said, this all you do basically, I'll quickly sort of try and show you. You do the 2 side wheel, 2 side bolts, and then they just fold underneath. I'm not going to push it all the way up, but it just gives you an idea of how it goes. So this is with the bars completely in, and that measures, I'm going to do roughly at 730 millimeters, so that's 73 centimeters and just under 29 inches. That's completely in. So now what I'll do is I'll pull it out to see how far it goes out. Right, so we'll measure it now. This is how I have it. This is not completely out, but it's a fair way out. It's 925 millimeters, that's 92.5 centimeters, and it's a fraction over 3 foot, which is 36 inches. It will come out a little bit more, but I haven't got it right on the edge of the box section because I wanted the thumb screws to actually grab hold of it and hold it rather than just be right on the edge of it. But that's more than enough for my bed to go in there. Right, so from the front to back, so we'll go from the back of the handlebar inside to the front bar. That is 1 meter 290. So what's that, 129 centimeters, and then that is 50 and a half inches from front to back. Now you have 2 thumb screws on this. I could adjust it and come out more, but I had a slight accident in my van while this was in there once, and I've bent one of the thumb screws. Completely my fault, and I daren't undo it yet until I've got time, just in case it breaks. I can then tap it, drill it out, tap it and put a new one in. So I'm leaving it set like this until something goes wrong because I'm happy the distance it is. Right, so like I said, you've got these 2 bits, they clip on. So you've got 2. I put this one to the outside and this one to the inside, and then that puts the bucket away from the wheel. They just clip on like that. And then the bucket, I always put the handle to the outside. The bucket just slips in. It will do. There you go. Like that. And then this one just slips on the front. And that holds that bucket in place so it can't fall out whilst you're going over rough ground. Now, like I said about the adjustment, I set this so when the bucket's on, I've got just enough room to get this on, and that is solid. It can't go forward, it can't go back. That is set perfectly for a 17 litre bucket. So that's probably how you'll set it, unless you do need that extra sort of probably inch or so, but I doubt you will. But I like the bucket to be nice and tight so it can't wiggle and jiggle and fall off. And as you can see, it's taken a bit to push that off because that's nice and solid. Right, now the front bar, the distance from the front base of the frame to the top of the bar, we'll go in the centre because that's the lowest point, is 360 millimeters, that's 36 centimeters, and that is 13 and a half inches, and at the edges it's 390 mils, that's 39 centimeters, and just under, well, just over, yeah, around about 15 and a half inches. Now what I'll do is I'll adjust it up and see how high it goes up. So now, adjusted completely up, in the centre it's 530 millimeters, that's 53 centimeters, and that is 21 inches, and at the edges it's 570 millimeters, that's 57 centimeters, and about 22 and a quarter inches, and that's with it right up. So the thing with that, having that, instead of having the some of the Y bars that you used to have, this actually acts as as high as some of the Y bars I've used, and then you can, like I said, this will lift up and tilt forward to give you that little bit extra space if you need it. I don't, because I use something else on the front, which I'll show you in a little while. Right, so now I'm going to give you some measurements of the actual size when it's packed down like this. I'm not going to take mine completely to bits because I don't want to, because I'm not pulling all the bits off. I've got it set how I want. So this is just so you can get a rough idea of how it is here. So if we go, say, from, let's go from the back of the bars to right to the front, that is 1 meter 300. So what's that, 130 centimeters, and then 51 and a half inches length. Obviously that's with the handlebars, but if you took the handlebars off, with the handlebars on, we'll do a measurement for that for you. So with the handlebars on, let's go 1 meter 820, which is 182 centimeters, 71 and a half inches. So you've got an option there to take them off or leave them on. The total width, the width of, say, of the barrow itself is 970 mil, 97 centimeters, so it's 38 inches. Now the wheels at the back for a measurement, I'm going to spin the wheels inwards like that and just give you a width of what they are. So yeah, they're 875 mil, so 87.5 centimeters, 34.5 inches. So the distance across the wheels is shorter than what this is when I've got this set, but obviously remember these are out, so these will go in. So yeah, the maximum sort of wheel, let's get that perfect for you, just so I know some people have asked me this question for the wheels. So wheels across 880 millimeters, that's 88 centimeters and 34.5 inches. I suppose another one we can do just while we're doing measurements is go from the floor to the base of that. It's 530 millimeters, 53 centimeters and 21 inches. So I thought what I'd do is I'd give it a close-up handheld walk around tour. So you can see from the side, there's the mesh pocket, and as you can see, you'll see in this video all the mud. I have used this, unlike some that just get it, unbox it and do a review. I'm not like that, I want to use it. So there's the bucket bracket, as you can see. There's the on off button just there, and then just above that is the LEDs, which tell you how much life you've got in the battery, and there's the charging socket. Down here's the wheels. As you can see, I've had them full of mud, but they still keep going. And then the zips to get into the barrow bag, as you can see, one-handed operation, comes undone nicely. And believe me, as you can see, there's a bit of dirt there, but they still undo. And then this one, a bit harder, but it's because it's floppy. But as you can see, like I say, it's used. Look, there's mud in there, but you can undo it. And when you've got two hands, it's much easier. On the front, there's the bucket brackets. Like I said, make sure you get them on the right way and put your retainer on to hold it in place. There's your sockets under there if you need to take your wheel off. Nice steady camera work here, trying to show you the mud in there, like to prove that I do use it, and I have used it over muddy ground. There's your socket for your front wheel, your motor. And then we come around the back, or the front, back, yeah, the back, we'll call it the back. There's your control unit. So basically what you've got on here is your thumb screw for speed. There's your forward and reverse and your on off button. These are your thumb screws. You have a lot of thumb screws on this. That's what tightens them up. I've heard people say about the handlebars not being sort of secure. They obviously don't do them up because you've got 4 thumb screws there, plus you've got your lock and retainer sort of screw on the side there. So I've never had a problem with them, and you know, I've had this loaded and lifted it up, and I've never had the bars come loose, and never even once. Underneath there's your other sockets. All these sockets are waterproof. Don't over tighten them, just make sure they're nipped up tight so they don't come undone, but not too tight. There's your Velcro straps for your bag, just holds your bag in position. Quite easy to undo, as you'll see. Just pull that off, and then that way you can, if you want, take it out and take it to your bivvy, or you can fold your wheels up. On the side here, you can see the D shackles there for the barrow straps. Right, so there you can see the bucket, bait bucket, what you want to call it, in position. And make sure you get these on right. I did explain, and I've got it set so it's nice and tight. So when you push it right in, this bit, when you put the retainer on the front, it just wedges it on so it doesn't move and rattle around and make a noise or fall off. Worth taking time to get that right. As you can see, I wanted to prove to people that I do use these. I don't just buy it, take it out of the box and do a review. I've used this for 5 months in all sorts of conditions all over winter, and it's covered in mud, and it has been cleaned once, so just proves I do use it. As you can see there, look, mud's falling off it. And again, people worried about the wheels. They don't get clogged up, they're fine. The side bits that hold the wheel on actually act like cleaners, because if the mud clogs up there, or tries to clog up there, it actually just scrapes it off and just falls off. So I've never had it blocked once. There you can see, look, again, just proving there's mud everywhere, so I do use this. So I thought I'd do a few scenic shots. You know, it's a nice camo and khaki colour, and as you can see here amongst the trees and leaves and twigs, here's with the bars sort of going up slowly. And it looks nice. There it is, sort of sitting on its side and amongst the trees on a sort of, I found this hump and I just put it up there so you can, just a few scenic shots to show you what it looks like. There it is by the lake. The light wasn't that great this day, but you know, it gives you an idea. There's trees overhanging us, but I just thought it looked quite nice and carpy, shall we say. But there you go, different situations, a few scenic shots, and here's a few stills just by the lake again in different angles. Right, this is for a 48 to 96 hour session, how I load it. I don't do 24s. So, and this is for a lake that, say, I've never been to before, so I need to take everything just in case. So you can see there's my little chair there and a couple of sort of tech bags. There is my bivvy bucket there, bivvy seat, my marker rod, spod rod, my rods, my nets and slings in that Fox, the welded stink bag. Then you got there is my bivvy, my cook bag with all my cook stuff in it. 3 covers, the Fox cookware stove. I can't go anywhere without that now. A great bit of kit. Spod station or spom station. My unhooking mat with water bucket. My waders there. Then up there I've got my little my little bag that I carry all my phone and diary in, my clothes bag. Then that green box there is my big tech bag. That's got my box. It just stops everything getting crushed. Got cameras and lighting and all that sort of stuff in there. Bit of money's worth in there, so I want to protect it. Then there's me Fox Barrow organiser, and then on top of that a couple of the Aquos perches. Love these Aquos perches. So I'll show you where they go in a second. There's a little bag of extra pegs for things like captive back leads and anything else. Just an extra pegs in case you lose one, bend one or whatever. So then over there I've got me 2 water containers, my tripod, and bivvy tables in. There's a couple of bivvy tables in an old bag there. I've got me pod bag with my bank sticks and all that sort of stuff. There's my Aquos freezer bag. Camelope food bag. Then there's another little bag that goes on the front. You'll see some of this how I load it in a minute, that holds my waterproof coat and gillet just in case it gets cold or rains as I'm walking around. A couple of bait buckets and my bed chair and sleeping bag and pillows. And that all, as you'll see in a minute, it seems a lot of kit, but again what I do is when I get to a lake I can take off what I don't need and put on what I do need. But if you're going somewhere and you don't know what you need, it's best to have all of it and not need it than get there and you need it and you haven't got it. So all this stuff here, a lot of this is for the video as well. I'm going to show you how I load this for my 48 to 96 all on there. Right, so in this bit I'm going to show you how I load the front bit. A lot of people asked about water containers. Now I use a lot of these. They do fit in the mesh pockets, as you can see, and there's plenty of room. It's not how I use it, but I was just doing this to show you. So there you can see the Fox Aquos bags. I've got 2 of these. They fit lovely in there, and they've got like spares in that I don't need very often, but if you're a long way from your van, it's just handy to have the spares I need. So they keep in there, nice and waterproof in there. Then this bag I'm putting in now is my dirty clothes bag. So I've got that there. I can just chuck that in and that keeps the clothes out of the way. A mallet, I very rarely use a mallet, but you never know. It's better to have one and not need it. Then this side, I have 3 waterproof covers. I know it's a bit excessive. One's for my chair, one's for my barrow, and then sometimes I need one for something else. I won't go into that. I am going to replace one of these with one of the Fox tarps. So that just sits in there so I know exactly what it is. These stay in my barrow all the time. I don't use them pockets for anything else. In the back here, in the batteries, because we put the batteries in a separate bit or a separate one piece, it allows you to put these little area here for storage. And I use this Aquos battery storage here, so all my batteries are in there, and the other couple of bits, they sit in there. Again, they stay in there nicely out of the way. Right, so in this bit, what I do is when I pretend we're at the van now, I chuck everything out around my barrow, because I load it very, very similar every time. So I chuck my stuff out in the position I need it when I'm getting it out of the van. So I have my barrow partly loaded. I don't fully load it in and out. So I just lay it where I roughly think, and it just makes it easier for loading. So and again, just to show you for the video purposes how I do it when I'm at the lake, but I'm obviously not at the lake. It was too bloody cold the day I was at the lake to show this. I just wanted to get to my swim and just get in the bivvy once the rods are out. So yeah, I must confess, when I load this, I never used the Fox barrow straps that come with it, but I've used them a couple of times since, and they're really good. So when you see the strapping down on this, it is going to change. Right, so what I do to start with, I obviously fill the barrow bag. As you can see in there goes all my cookware, and then in goes my Fox cookware cook stove. On top I've got a little tech bag there, and that is my coffee pot. Don't drink much coffee, but I put it in just for an odd one during the winter. And then on top I stick my sleeping bag, bed, chair and pillars and all that sort of stuff. That's in there. That's it. I sit that at the front. Then the two 17-litre buckets go in the front. You'll see how I load these, well, you will have seen how I load these in the other video. And then don't forget to put the little retainers on the front. That stops them from falling off. Now in the front, in that bag, that has got my ghillie and waterproof jacket. So if I'm walking around, it starts to get cold or rain, I can put it on. And then the water carriers, 2 5-litre water carriers go on the front. Never had them fall off, so they sit on there lovely. And then out on the back here, as you can see, is my food bag, my freezer bag, and then my tech box, what has all my camera equipment and batteries and lights and microphones and stuff like that. They go there, which creates a little sort of gap here where I can fit my nice little chair, folds up lovely and sits in there. And then on top of that, we put pod, bank sticks, extra pegs, and I think I can't think what's called, tripod. My way tripod goes on there, and that sits in there nice, holds everything. So you'll see why I pack it like this in a little while in the next video. Then on goes me bivvy tables. There's 2 bivvy tables in there, the 2-tier Fox bivvy tables. And then my barrel organizer, I sit there. Again, that's quite heavy, so what I do is I put that in the centre. I like to keep the weight low and evenly spread. Then on the side goes my bivvy. That's the Frontier X. Love that bivvy. And then my spare clothes bag, which I keep in the bivvy. On top of there goes my spom station and my unhooking mat. And then what I do is hook my bivvy bucket seat on the back. Again, I'll show you how that fits on in a minute. Then the slings, nets and all that sort of stuff go on there. Then my spot and marker rod. And then my rods go on top, which you'll see in a minute. Now, as I was saying about the straps, I've always used these sort of stretchers. I don't know, I've had them years. I don't know where I got them or what make or anything like that. But I've used these for years, really good. And up until recently, probably a month or 2 ago, I still use these. I still do use them, but now I've changed. In the video, I have put the Fox straps on. As you can see now, that my rods are going on. But I use the Fox straps. And I must admit, I actually really like them, and I will be using them. The straps that come with the barrow, I'm going to be using them a lot more because they're a lot better than I thought they was going to be. And so how I strap this down, it has changed slightly. But you're always going to be adapting and changing, because this barrow is just, you won't just load it the once and that'll be it. Every time you load it, you'll load it differently until you find what suits you best. So I used to have it like this, so I could unstrap bits and pieces, but it'd still be strapped on. So if you wanted to stop at a swim and do a quick bit in a bit, you could, and then chuck it back on. Then the waders go on top. On the front, I just clip on. That's got my pop-ups and plastic baits and wafters and bits and pieces like that in there. Again, so I can get to it easily. And these are the Fox straps, barrow straps that come with it. Like I say, I didn't use these for the first sort of 2 to 3 months, but this last sort of 4, 5, 6 weeks I have been using them, and they really do hold it down. Ideal if you've got really uneven ground, but yeah, they're really good. I'm going to be using these a hell of a lot more. So you can adjust them. You've got little D rings on the side of your barrow where these just clip to, and then just pull them down tight, and that's it. And then on top here, I carry my little bag that has my diary and pens and pencils and work phones, personal phone and all that sort of stuff. And basically I just clip it on the strap so it can't fall off. So I have had it fall off once. And as you can see here, it moves still freely. I can lift it up. I have to do it this way, lift it like this because of my wrists. But there, just to prove it can be done. On the back, so as you can see here, that's my bivvy bucket. Let's say I can just unclip it, clip it back on. I've got that if I want to walk down into a swim and have a look around. Again, I'll show you more of this a bit later in the video. I'll show you about those hooks as well, what I use for that. So if I need to get to my bivvy, it's on the side. So if I get to a swim and want to stick my bivvy up first because it's raining, I just put it off this side. On the front, there's my bucket, as you can see, and then down the front there is my waterproof coat and ghillie if I need that quickly, easy access. This is all done so it's easy accessible. Again, you'll be able to see in the video in a minute. There's the water containers. They sit really nice. I know they're Carp Porter, but Fox don't do water buckets at the moment. When they do water buckets, I will replace them with Fox ones. And on top, like I say, I can see my waders, my spom station, and then on the back there is the unhooker mat. Rods are on the side, so I can unclip, take a set of rods off, but the other ones are still clipped on. And if I need them, I just unclip the other straps and they come off. So it's all done so I can get to bits and pieces easily. Right, you're now going to see how and why I do it this way. So basically, if you get to a swim, you're walking around the lake, I need to check the weather, I need to check the wind speed, which way it's coming from. If you want to put your bivvy up so the wind's coming into your back, if you can get your phone out, check the compass, check the weather, get your compass out, check which way the wind's coming, and then that way you can set your bivvy up so you've not got it in your face. Sometimes you can't, but you know, it's just handy. So that's on top there, out the way. And then if you want to have a sit in the swim, unclip your bucket, sit down and just have a look. You sit there nice and comfort, your barrow's still loaded, you're not committed yet. And then if you want to move on, clip it back on and away you go. Camelite cushion on there, oh, game changer that is. So these hooks here, as you can see, they're cheap as chips. You buy them off the internet, and basically what they do is they have a wide bit and a narrow bit, and I just bend the wide bit in a little bit so it just nips the frame, and then they just sit on top of the frame. And then what you can do is just clip your bucket on and off. Let's say they're cheap as chips. You get them off the internet. I think they're shower curtain hangers, but works a treat. So if it gets really cold, or you know it starts to rain while you're walking around looking for the fish, you just go to the front, unclip it, chuck your jacket on, and you're nice and dry, ready to go. And you carry on. So even if you do get wet, or you do need something, you need a hat, or you need something else, you know, on the front there is my clothes bag, my spare clothes bag. So here, I've just got out my little ghillie. I've got a thin one, what I use for summer, and I've got a thicker one for winter. So here, I've just got this out for show. And I can stick that on. Again, don't have to unload the whole barrow. I can just get that out, keep myself warm, and carry on looking for the fish. So when you get to the, if you do find somewhere you want to fish, bang, out comes your unhook and mat, your water bucket and that sort of thing. So you've got that ready, and then you can just slip it back in dead easy without having to unload. I've done it so you can unload bits and pieces of the barrow without unloading it all, where you can get to everything. Again, this is just how I do it. Say I want to get my rods out and I want to fish, I just unclip the straps and just lift my rods off. If you do need one to get your marker rod out and have a quick mark around, then what you can do is on the other straps and take that off as well, because they're both on the side. But again, it's just how I do it. And if you want your spot and marker rod off, if you do need it, you just unclip the other straps. Again, I have changed my strap position a bit, but it's just done so I can just unclip that, get my spot and marker rod off, my nets off, and then underneath that is my pod and bank sticks. So again, I've got everything I need without having to unload the whole barrow. And then you just chuck it back on if you decide that's not the swim for you, or you've had a couple of hours there and want to move on, chuck it back on, clip it all back down, and away you go to the next swim. So I was saying about the pop-ups and wafters, they're just clipped on the front with a carabiner around the handle. It just clips off, and again, you haven't had to unload the whole barrow. You just take the bits off you need as and when. Now with this, I have my barrow bag in the centre because of the weight. I was keeping everything like sort of evenly weighted, like I was saying earlier. So basically minimal here, unclip it, take the waders off, the spods, bomb station, and then just lift the bag up, and there I've got access to everything inside. Bits and pieces you need, your alarms, your rig box, your tools, your hooks, everything you need is in there, glasses, the whole lot. So it's nice and easy, nice and accessible, and then you can do your fishing you want to do where you are in that swim, leave it all on the barrow. I haven't even got to take the bag off, as you can see, and you've got everything, your PVA, your scales, everything you need to fish is in that bag for me. And again, once you're finished, you just zip it back up, chuck your bits and pieces back on, spom station on, and didn't even undo the straps. I just stretch them over the top. That's why I like those straps as well. And then just put the waders on, stretch your strap over the top, and you're ready to go. Charging couldn't be simpler. All I do is wheel it into my garage, plug the charger into the wall, and then plug it into the side, leaving all the batteries and that in place. That's one thing that used to annoy me about my other barrow. I had to unload it and take all the battery out. But all I do here, look, as you can see in the little socket, is just plug it in. So one in the wall, one in the barrow, you're done. I sometimes don't even take it out of my van. I just take an extension lead out and plug the charger in and charge it in my van. So you don't even have to unload it. Right, we are back in the YouTube studio, storeroom, whatever you want to call it, dog's room. Hello, love. If she's come to be on camera, look. Come on, I've got to talk to these people, look, and tell them all about this barrow. Look, you're knocking the camera. That's it, lay down. Right. So yes, we're going into the nitty gritty bit. This is going to be bits I didn't put in the video, elaborate on a few bits I forgot, and a few other things. I had loads of questions whilst people knew I'd got this barrow, and people knew I was going to do a long-term review on it. So I tried to cover a lot of questions. That's why I took a lot of time over the sizes, because a lot of people was asking about sizes. Right, so let's get into it. I'm going to have to read off my bit of paper because there's quite a few bits I want to do, and I won't be able to remember them all. So we'll do it from a bit of paper. So bear with me, keep looking down. Yeah, so cost. It costs around about £1,000. That's why I wanted to do. I wanted to do a long-term review on it. It's 5 months. I didn't want to just take it out of the box and say, yeah, it looks okay, because you don't really want to be spending £1,000 and then going off my word and then it's not what you want. So I like to do, if you follow the channel, you'll know I like to use stuff, then do a review on it. So £1,000 give or take, depending on where you get it from, if you can find deals and all that sort of stuff. So that's what it is. If you're looking for a solid, quality built, strong barrow, then yeah, this is it. I was really shocked when I picked the boxes up when it was delivered, to take out, I had them loaded in the van, and then I took them outside at home to build it. I was shocked at the weight. This thing is solid. It's built to last. Anyone got any queries about bits on the frame breaking or cracking, or the rear wheels or the handlebars, anything like that, this is solid. As long as you use it right and set it up right, it's going to last you a long time. So it isn't light. I tell you now, it's a heavy old piece of kit, but what do you want? Do you want light and break, or do you want quality, strong and last? Personally, I prefer it to last. What I recommend you do, you get the booklet with it. I recommend you read this, sit down and read it. Get space when you're setting it up. get yourself space where you can spread it all out, get it all out and set it all up. Another thing I recommend is when you're putting it together, don't tighten everything up to start with, because there's different size thumb screws now, different lengths shall we say. Now put them where you think, and then what you can do, you can always adjust it to suit once it's all together. I put this together 5 months ago. Now, I will say here now, I started filming 5 months ago when I first bought it, filming bits and pieces. I lost the footage of the build. I lost footage of Naseby, which I had some cracking videos from Naseby about it going through mud and up and down hills and over bridges and through woodland. And I'm gutted. I absolutely lost it. And I was going to film it all again, but I've just not had time to get back there. But I am going to do an updated one. And when I do the updated one, Naseby's definitely going to be in it. So yeah, take your time, build it. Make sure you get it right. There's loads and loads of different ways you can set this up. Set it up, pack down, whatever. As you've seen in the video, there's different. I didn't do all of it because I've got it set to what I want. I don't want to keep chopping and changing, but I did as much as I could to show you what I could. So if you want to strip it right down to go in a small boot of a car, you can do. If you want to strip it half down to go in a state car, you can do. If you've got a van, and it will go in a van, so great. There's lots of different ways. You've just got to find which one suits you, and you'll load it, and then next time you'll load it differently, and next time you'll load it differently. I had exactly the same with the barrel organizer and the edges tackle box. Eventually you'll set it up, you'll think that's about right, and then you'll adjust a little bit, and then next time and slowly you narrow it down till you get it to perfect to what you want. Again in the video I set that up for, like I say, how the time I was going to do a 48 to 96 give or take. Now some lakes you go to, you use their mats, their slings, their nets, their water buckets, so I don't need all that stuff on it, but I done it as if I was going to a lake and didn't know what I needed. So I like my food as well, so yes, people can say, well, you've got a lot of, a couple of food bags and your cookers, cookware, stove. I like my food. I'm not going to sit and eat pot noodles for 4 or 5 days, so I like my food. That's why I've got them there. But it just shows you how much stuff you can take. If you take less than me, great. You won't have to, it won't load it up so much. When you do load it, like I said in the video, make sure you load it, don't get the weight high and on one end. I distribute it evenly and keep the weight low. Again, just my personal sort of thing. It just stops it from tipping over so much. Barrows can tip over the higher you get them, and the weight not right. So that's something, again, you'll have to play around with and to suit you. Charge and time. Right, when you get it and charge it, this is hard because I don't let it run out. So what I do is I charge it most time. If I'm going to a lake, there's a lake I go to where I don't barrow very far at all. But I'll probably go there several times before I'll charge it. But if I go there, then go somewhere where it's longer, or go somewhere where it's longer, then go there, sure, I will charge it. So it will charge at different times depending on how depleted the batteries are. Allow yourself 2 to 5 hours as a rough estimate, I've found. Distance it travels, as in, like I just said, going from on different lakes, it's really hard. I did try my hardest to try and work it out. Again, like I said, I lost footage. At Naseby, to give you an idea, it was just over 1 kilometre to the swim. I'll put a video up while I'm talking now and you'll be able to see. We had to go all the way down the dam wall, round the back of the house, or a little pump station or whatever it is, and then across a bridge, through like a muddy section, and then through the woodland section, up onto the planks, and then round the corner. And it was just over 1 kilometre to the swim. And I did that. I was there for 4 days, 3 nights, and I took everything in one trip, and it did it there and back, no problem. Obviously, if you're doing lots of smaller journeys, then it will do a lot more. I just don't want to run out, basically. I don't want the battery to run out, so I make sure it's topped up. The rear wheels, lots and lots of people. The other thing about the distance it can do on a battery, that I've said, it makes a difference on the actual the distance you're using it from the car park to the swim, shall we say, but also the ground makes a difference. So if you're on nice flat tarmac, it's going to do longer than if it's on, say, gravel. and grass, and it'll probably do further on, and then sorry, less time if you're in mud and going over up and down hills. So there's lots to take into account of how far it will go on a full charge of battery. I just top it up when I come home. That's easy that way. I know it's ready. And I have had it sat in the van for sort of over a month, fully charged over a month. Took it and got it out, and it's still fully charged, so it doesn't lose charge. Obviously, you know, if you leave it a year or two, it probably will. I don't know. I use mine at least once a month. The rear wheels. Now the rear wheels. Loads and loads of people I saw before this come out, since it's been out, and on a daily basis, everyone goes, "Oh, I don't know about the rear wheels in mud." Not had a problem at all, and I've had that the back end mudded up. You can only just see the wheels now. Where I don't know, you see that there, where the side bits come down like that, the wheel sits in here, and these bits here, these actually act a bit like mud cleaner, shall we say. The mud comes around on the wheel like that, and that sort of slices it off to the side. Yeah, inside there gets a bit muddy, but it sort of chops the mud off, and it don't really get that clogged in there. I've never ever had it clogged. It stops. It still pulls fine. Now, I know, talking to a friend, he's got one with rear wheels, and it's got brakes on, and that clogs a lot more than what this does. His clogs a hell of a lot more, and it does get to the stage where he has to stop and clean it, probably because there's not so much gap, whereas with this you've got the gap and it can still freely run. The wheels are nice and smooth as well, so the tread on them, obviously it's got tread on them, but the wheels are quite smooth, so the mud just comes off quite easily. Not had a problem with it at all. On loose gravel, as you saw, wet ground, soft ground, leaves, twigs, you saw in the video where it was just running over the twigs, just pushed them out of the way. I've not had a problem at all with it, and they are solid. I've seen people say, "Oh, they might break." They are solid, absolutely solid. What else were we going to say about it? With the brake system, that is probably the only thing, and it's such a small thing. I was on a lake, and it was on a slope, and I pulled the barrow up, and basically the barrow just twisted round like that. Whereas if we had a brake, I could have turned it on. Personally, for what I've just said about the brake, where it actually can clog up more, I would rather not have the brake, and all I do is I just chuck a twig under the wheel or something like that. There's loads of twigs. You're at a lake, there's trees, there's bushes. If not, I just chuck a bait bucket down or something, anything, just so if you're on an uneven ground, just to stop the barrow from twisting round. That is it. I've found it not a problem at all. What else we got? Obviously, again, we're going back to the mud thing. If you're going over a ploughed field, you know, if you're popping over to see Farmer Giles and you want to go across his freshly ploughed field, then yeah, it is probably going to get stuck. But at normal situations at a fishing lake, I've not had a problem yet. And I've seen a few other people do reviews on this, and I've also seen a few other people using it in situations, and they said they've not had a problem at all. But that's sort of where we're at. I am going to do an updated version, probably sort of like midsummer, once I've used it on a few more lakes and I've gathered a few more sort of bit more about it. I can't really I've used it, so I can't really see how I'm going to update, but there always is. I did it with the Fox Bivvy, I used it, then I found a few other tips and tricks and used it again, and then the porch come out and I done one on that. I've now got the overwrap I'm doing one on, so with this barrow there may be new things come out. They may bring out, say, a really big cover for it. That would be nice, and if I do, I'll get one and do a review on that. They may bring out water carriers. As you see, the water carriers I've got ain't Fox. Fox don't do water carriers at the moment, and so I'm using those. But if they bring one out that fits on it, I will do a review on that, and so on and so on. So yeah, I did. You will see, before I had the Fox, before I used the water carriers on the front, I actually made myself a little flip up bar for the front, because the one that's smaller than this has a little flip up bar that you can sit a bag on. Well, this one doesn't. I actually made myself one of them, but I took it off because I preferred it. Just put too much weight to the front, and once I've got my water carriers and my jackets on there, I can get to them easier, and so I took that back off. I have got plans to make something else for it, but again, if I do that, I'll show you more videos. So hopefully that's sort of covered a lot of the questions I've been asked over the last 5 months. If you've got any more, pop them in the comments below. So I think I'll leave it there. I don't want to bore you too much. It's been a long video, but I wanted to put as much as I could in for you. So if you're going to spend your money, hopefully, you know, this video will help you make your mind up whether you need it or not, whether it's the right size or not, and whether it can carry what you want, if it's too big, if it's too small or whatever. That's all I'm trying to do. So thanks for watching. I'll leave some links up top here for like the barrel organizer and probably something else for it, and you can pop back and have a look at them as well.